Guys, how are y'all?
Good.
Good.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
So, you're obviously no stranger to Stephen King adaptations. having done
Right.
Was that part of what attracted you to this project, or was it purely just me?
Well, what happened with this was Stephen and I started communicating during Lost because he was a massive fan of the show, and which I was thrilled about. And then when I joined Under the Dome for the first 2 seasons, Stephen and I got to know each other and talked about finding something to do. So we were talking about different projects, and one day in the mail I got this big old sucker envelope, and I opened it up, and it was Stephen King's Galley's unpublished novel, Mr. Mercedes. I was like, oh my God! So I made Xerox copies and started selling them. No, I locked myself in my house, and what are you reading? My wife said, nothing. No. Everybody knew. I told everybody I got this book. It was very exciting, and I read it very quickly, not being the fastest reader, and I loved it. And it was, what attracted me to it was not only Stephen King dealing with a detective genre, which he never has, but it was really the people and the characters within this very twisted plot. And I thought, wow, this is Stephen writing about the monsters inside of us as opposed to the monsters outside of us, which to me was really exciting and the perfect fodder for a cable series. So that's what attracted me to it. That's what got all this going. I had my other great idea to bring David Kelley aboard, who is a huge Stephen King fan. And having worked with David in the past, I knew that if David went down the twisted ride of this, nobody could do it with more humanity and humor than David Kelley, which he did, and then our other writers, Dennis Lehane, brilliant writers, carried on. But that's what attracted me to it, and then I was lucky enough to draw in this exceptional cast. But the funny thing is, I said to Stephen, when I called him after I read it, said, yes, I want to do it. I said, do you know this actor Brendan Gleeson? Because he was born to play Hodges. And he went, I love Brendan Gleeson, and he started listing In Bruges and all these movies of Brendan's. And I said, he's born to play this guy. And as fate would have it, he does. And he's genius.
He always is.
Yeah, exactly.
So, in terms of adaptation, how is different the show than from the book, and what do you think the fans will find?
I think that, well, first of all, the fans of the book, I think, will really like the show. It's the architecture of the first book. Certain little changes, like it's not a boy band concert at the end, but there's a very big event and a very big climax that Stephen wrote. Ida Silver, played by the brilliant Holland Taylor, was invented by David Kelley. And, Stephen, when he came aboard as an exec producer, because he always has the right either to do that or not. And when I sent him the pilot, he said, oh my God, I love this. I want an exec producer with you guys. Can I? What do you mean, can you? Of course, even though I had included him early on in some of the casting choices. He's very supportive. He loves the show. He wrote me after he saw the finale. He said, because I got these, pleasing him is enormously gratifying because he's such a genius and such a great guy. And he wrote to me, he said, the choices you all made that are different from the book, I love seeing them, and I wish in some instances that's what I would have done, which I thought was the highest praise. And so Stephen's very happy. And so the adaptation, it's the book, and yet it goes into little areas that the book didn't. But the second book, Finders Keepers, which is also brilliant, we're going to have our work cut out for us. Because, Hodges doesn't come in until halfway through. Breeda is in a coma throughout, even though he's somewhat activated. And so it's going to take a little more dreaming and figuring out, rather than having the template that we had from the first book.
What can you say about the appearance, Stephen King appearance in this series? We just seen during the panel an extract, and Stephen King was in this extract.
I didn't quite understand.
What can you say about the appearance, the Stephen King
Appearance of
appearance?
Stephen.
Yes, sorry for my
Yeah,
English.
no, it's good.
Yes.
Believe me, it's fine.
Yeah.
I barely speak English, so I'm sure you can. Stephen was there visiting,
Yes.
and like I did early on in Under the Dome, I put him in our cafe, writing in his little notebook, or drinking coffee. So I said, Stephen, I said, he was there the day we did this restaurant massacre, which is all in Brady's head. So I said, Stephen, I said, I've got a great cameo for you. And I said, what about if you're a chef in this one shot I came up with, where in Brady's head he looks over and sees this, blah, 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 and we come up to you and you're in the window where there's, and you've got a meat cube in your black back and you're dead and bleeding. I love it. So he did it, and it was great. And he had to catch his plane to get the hell out of there before a storm came, so we raced through it. But I got it, and he couldn't have been better. And he wrote to me when he saw it. He said, you know, this episode is phenomenal. It's great. It's blah, 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 blah. Who is that guy who plays the chef? He is genius. So I think it'll be a goose for fans, definitely. And Steven's a great sport. And yeah, so I loved it. He loved it. Our cast loved it. You know, it's always good.
Thank you.
Is that anything else, or are we good?
We have 2 minutes. Actually.
Oh, good.
I was trying to get into your panel, but I don't know if you knew there was such a long line. They had to turn away about 300 people.
I was really excited for a first season show to get that attention, because I've been here doing shows that, you know, have been on and huge successes, and that was really good.
Well, it's incredible. I think a lot of it's to do incredibly with the team and the cast. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what was the rapport like?
Great. I mean, there are things I do in life really well and lots I don't. But I really think I'm pretty good at creating an environment for actors and creative people to thrive in. And the more secure I've gotten over the years, the less I need to be the one making every decision. You know, I think as an artist, you do get better in life and get freer and not needing to be controlling everything, which I certainly have. So I had great people around me, and production designer, cinematographer, and actors, and we would, you know, this one time I said to Harry Treadaway, I said, Harry, I just see you dancing. Like, I'm a painter, and I said in my studio when I'm listening to music and I'm painting and I'm really in the groove and loving it sometimes, I said, I'm moving around, and I said, I see you down here just wailing. Like the first time we see him in the show, he's in his car wailing to Pet Sematary, which was an ode to Stephen King. And I said, at first he was singing it kind of subdued, and I said, no, I want you just rocking out in your car, because in life, when you go into your Supreme Electronics store, you're kind of invisible, man. So I want you by yourself to fucking kick ass. So I said, there's got to be some time we see you dancing. And then he came up with this one scene where he was in his basement just getting information to do it, and he played Radiohead, and he knocked it out of the park, and that starts our episode. 8 or no, I'm telling you, it's so twisted. Is all I can tell you.
Amazing.
Thank you very much. Have a
It's not
good day.
exactly disco. It's great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
you.